you for watching. Today we have a very special guest, Miss Lili Gutierrez from the Float and Calm Spa, located on Saul Kleinfeld here in El Paso, Texas. And as always, got Christian Frias, the one and only.
Hello.
So we hope you guys enjoy.
All right. So I guess just tell us a little bit about Float and Calm. It's a spa. What do you guys do there?
Okay.
What kind of services?
Sure. So we have been in business for almost 3 years.
Nice.
And we have massage, infrared sauna, and float therapy and facials. Those are the services that we do.
That sounds amazing.
What's infrared sauna? Yeah.
Infrared sauna?
Yeah. I
So
know.
infrared sauna is it's a sauna that heats you from the inside out, as opposed to like the steam sauna or the hot rock sauna. It uses infrared wavelengths and it'll heat you from the inside out, and so like it induces a fever in you. So it's really good, like to boost your immune system. And I hate to say boost, supports your immune system. And it's just really good for like circulation, good for metabolism, good for your skin.
Wow.
So you just sweat in there. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's like, but
cool.
you're just hot. Your body's just hot. Like
Your
it's not
body's
hot
hot.
around you. That's interesting.
Well, no, it's hot. It's hot around you, but because it's the infrared wavelengths, they get into like your cellular structure. So it is hot in there.
Okay.
Your body will sweat. Some people don't sweat, which I haven't researched why that is. Yeah. So, but most of the time you do sweat. It's very relaxing. At least for me, it is. I would say that most people find it very relaxing. There's some people that don't like to sweat, so it just depends on your body. Yeah.
Okay.
That's so cool.
But everything is geared towards self-care. Everything is geared towards making you feel better, grounding you, kind of, getting you into good headspace, your body space. So that's why we call it a wellness spa, because that's what it's geared to make you feel better.
Okay. That's pretty, like, people, you don't hear a lot about like those sorts of like health modalities that aren't like, medicine or surgery, like just the normal things that people think about, like when it comes to keeping up your health. But there's still like stuff like you said, like these like massage and like this infrared sauna stuff that really kind of boosts. It's like, I guess, real Eastern style.
Right.
Yeah.
And the more that I learned about it, because I didn't get into being a massage therapist, and so the more that I learned about it, like it's so interesting and fascinating, because we can actually help ourselves. And why are we not taught this? And I'm trying to get into conspiracy theories or anything. But why? Why are we not taught that massage boosts your dopamine levels? It boosts your serotonin. It reduces pain. We're not taught those things. And yet we go to a doctor and we're prescribed all these medicines which have side effects, and then they have to treat those side effects. So again, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. What I am a promoter of, at least I want to think I am, is that let's learn for ourselves, right? Let's research a little bit.
Open our minds.
Yeah,
A little bit to
and
other
if
things.
you're not into researching, then come to the spa and just let us help you feel good. And if it feels good, then maybe try it again.
Yeah.
If it feels better, try it again. So if you have anxiety, if you have depression, if you have any kind of muscle pain, if you're having any kind of problems like that, try it and see what happens. And then if you feel better, then you don't have to take any medicine.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I am totally against medicine.
Yeah.
No,
Because
thank
of all the
you.
side effects, right? Yeah.
No, thank you. Just too many chemicals and
for sure. And
And
it's,
I know massage therapy, like you can actually get rid of inflammation and blockages, and just from hitting certain pressure points and stuff like that.
Exactly.
It's
And
super
yeah, and
interesting.
it's just interesting. Even like so trauma, right? From like when you're a child or whatever, either physical, emotional, mental, it's stored in our bodies. And so you start moving that tissue around, you start moving that fascia around, you get those releases, and you have people like start crying on the massage bed, not because they're in pain or anything, but because they're releasing
they're feeling stuff.
things. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Wow. I mean, and you get to be there to
And I get to be there.
help
I feel
them,
so honored. Yeah.
that's kind of like a therapist.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
without having to talk about your feelings.
Exactly.
Here, we'll just massage him out.
Which is a massage, yeah. And then the other thing that I learned is that not only is it beneficial for the person, it's beneficial for me. So when your parasympathetic
Nervous
system gets activated, mine does too.
Yeah.
So
it's just like that transference of the feelings. That's I've never heard a massage therapist talk about it in that sense.
Yeah.
And that's super cool
And
that
that's
you're
really
thinking about it
where-
from that perspective. Yeah.
Like the whole basis of like massage therapy, you know, like in ancient times, I'm sure it's like that's why.
yeah,
Not
that's
just
why
for
they did it.
relaxation, but yeah, for actual like medical purposes.
Exactly.
I love deep tissue. Like I'm just like I want you to hurt me. Just
Yeah.
get in there.
And that definitely tells us something, right? As massage therapists, when someone wants you to do such deep pressure that they say stuff like, you know, hurt me, because of course we're not supposed to hurt you.
Yeah.
But that does say something. That does say something about the condition that you're in, and I'm not going to get into that. But
She was like, "Let me tell you about yourself a little bit."
But it does say something, and it's good. So I think that that's something that really you should be aware of, and you probably do need massage.
Yeah.
More often
I know
than
I
not.
do. We should
Yeah.
go.
we gotta go. We gotta hit up
Definitely.
Yeah.
the clinic for sure.
Definitely.
So, what got you into this field? Like, what made you want to start this?
Yeah, so like about 10 years ago, probably even longer now, because I'm 53 now, so probably like when I was hit my 40 middle-age
You
crisis.
do not look 53.
You are so
at
sweet.
all.
Thank you. You're so
Whoa.
sweet.
No, for sure. I would not
You're
have
so
thought
sweet.
that.
Thank you. Aw, you guys. So when I was about 40, I think I hit like a middle-age crisis.
Yeah.
And I started being in a lot of psychological pain. I started having a lot of anxiety. I didn't know what anxiety was.
Yeah.
And so I started not sleeping. I started not eating. I started like being fearful of stuff. And it was weird because I was like, what the heck is going on? And like little by little, I started doing things like exercising because I was so desperate to find something that helped. And I didn't want to get on medication because my crazy mind was like, you know, what if the apocalypse happens and I won't have medication? I need to find a way to stop.
Hey, that's preparation. That's
Exactly.
preparation right there.
Yeah, so I thought, no, I don't want to do that. I need to find a way to self-soothe.
Yeah.
So I started doing yoga, and so yoga led to meditation. Meditation, once I started researching that, led to float therapy. So float therapy, did I mention float therapy that we have that?
Not yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we have a float therapy there at the spot too, and I'll tell you what that is. So that led to float therapy. Float therapy is a tool for meditation. And so what that is, it's a tank that you walk into, and it's filled with 10 inches of water. But the water has 1,200 pounds of Epsom salts in there. It's skin temperature. So when you get in there, you float automatically.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and since it's skin temperature, you really can't feel it. So you kind of lose your body in there. You're supposed to float without any sound or any light. So it's almost it's called a sensory deprivation.
Yes.
tank,
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have heard of that.
Yeah. So that's when I started the meditation. I started learning about the sensory deprivation tank. Well, they didn't have really any here in El Paso. I think at that time there was one at a house somewhere, and I didn't want to go to a house. They did have some in Ruidoso, so we would go to Ruidoso
Cool.
to do that there.
Yeah.
And then you know, years later, after tons of lots of meditation years, I kept thinking, gosh, I really wish there was a float tank here, you know. And then one day it was like, well, why don't you do it? Like just something came into my head.
Yeah.
I didn't have
The
any
light bulb
money.
came
I
on.
didn't, you know, it's not like I was working at the city for at that time. I was a project manager. I was in construction.
Really?
Yeah, so it wasn't
Completely.
Yeah, there was
different
no-
direction.
no reason for me to think that. But I thought, you know, it's one of those things where we complain so much about things, and it's like, well, then do something about it.
Be part of the
Yeah,
be part of the solution. Yeah.
So that's how it started, and really, what I learned is that it's all it is one step at a time. So I went and I looked at a space, and I went and I signed the papers, you know, and I didn't know where the money was going to come from. I didn't know anything, but little by little, I got the money from the credit cards, And I was, because I had good credit that time. I don't have any more good credit, but at that time I did. So I got that. I used that money to build it out, buy a float tank, which cost a lot of money. And we did it. And I think my husband at that time thought I was kind of crazy, but he's my biggest supporter, my biggest cheerleader. So he was just
awesome.
like, okay, do it, go ahead. And so my idea was that I was going to keep working at the city, and I could establish this spa, hire massage therapists. They could do the work, and I could go clean at night, or I could do the laundry at night, whatever it was. So I did that. I did that for a while. And like I said, I worked at the city.
Wow, so you were
I was
trying to do
oh my
both.
God, I was going nuts.
That's a
I was
lot.
going crazy. But again, I don't think I'm anything special case. I would imagine anybody that is an entrepreneur or works on their own, they realize you work harder when it's your own business.
For sure.
So I'm preaching to the choir here.
No,
And I worked at the city, and then COVID hit. So we opened up like 6 months before COVID, right?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And it was crazy.
Yeah.
So COVID hit, and of course they shut us down for, gosh, I don't know, maybe half a year that year. And but during the time that I was at the city, and this is where it gets juicy.
All right.
Okay, this is where it gets.
Here's the cheese smell. Okay.
You guys, I've not told anybody this. So I was working at the city, and I was in charge of not only construction but also of the warehouse and the facilities maintenance of the zoo. I used to work for the zoo.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, it was so lovely. And so I used to work, and so I had like 40 guys under me, and I shouldn't just say guys because there was some women there. But anyways, and they didn't want to get COVID masks during that time. Masks were not mandated yet, and so I told my boss, I said, "Hey, we need to get masks for our staff," and he's like, "No, it's not. They're not mandated yet." And back in the time, we didn't have to wear masks. Do you remember that time?
So nice.
It seems so far,
So far away.
but it seems so far, but so close.
And it was at the time when, he was like, "No, we don't need to wear masks." But I felt so compelled to buy the mask. I bought the mask out of my own money. Okay, so I spent money there. Well, like a month later, at that time, masks were mandated. But everybody in the city that kept coming in, they had like logoed masks. City of El Paso, El Paso Airport, El Paso Police Department. And so my guys were like, "Hey, why don't we have El Paso Zoo?"
Yeah.
I said, "I don't know." So I asked my boss again, and I said, "Hey, why don't we have logoed masks?" Well, we don't have any money. So I said, okay, I'm not going to buy them this time. So I told my guys, I said, "Hey, we don't have any money." But at the time, there was a project going on. And it was not my project. I was at home working from home. And my guys said, "Hey, there's a project going on. They've removed all the copper from that building because they're going to rewire it. And it's just sitting in a pile on the floor. Can we have it?" And I said, "I don't know. It's not mine, know." Yeah. So I said, "Let me call the contract manager for that, the project manager for that project." So I called her, and she's like, "Well, I don't know. It's the contractors. Let me ask if you can have it."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay." And then so she called the contractor, and he said, "Yeah, go ahead and take it." So my guys, one of the facilities, the warehouse employees, the facilities employees, they took the copper, they got it recycled. By the way, I told my boss that, "Can we do this?" And he's like, "Yeah, go ahead."
Yeah, you have the go ahead.
Yeah, he got the go ahead.
Yeah.
So they took it to go recycle. Got like $1,000. Who knew copper is that expensive?
Yeah.
You guys know that, right? I didn't. And they got $800. So I ordered masks for the zoo, and bought masks for the zoo. And then I got called in by HR and said I was fired.
What?
Yeah, after like this investigation, like everybody lied. Everybody said that they didn't. My boss lied, said that he didn't know about that, about the mask. My employees, I don't think lied, but they had no, they had no leverage on it. So I got fired. What are we? Okay, so I got fired last January of 2021. Yeah. So I was like, what? I didn't know why did I get fired or whatever. Well, the reason that I know now that my boss knew is because I was able to get all that information from like Open Records.
Yeah.
And and sure enough, like he didn't know. But then they did put on there 6 months later, they found out that he knew. He lied to the police and he lied to them. And I'm not blaming my boss because nobody should have gotten fired. It was they were masked.
Yeah.
But they found out that he lied and they said, in lieu of termination, we're going to give you 5 days suspension.
But you got fired.
But I got fired. Wow. So that's the cheeseman. So to tell you how I got into massage therapy.
Typical city.
Right? So I said, what the hell am I going to do? You know, I had a really good job. The spa wasn't making a lot of money at that time. In fact, I still was subsidizing it, you know. And so, of course, I started working full-time there at the spa. And even though there was COVID going on and there was not a lot of clients, you know, at all, I was able to, you know, kind of save money because I was there. But then once I started working there, something happened. Something really weird happened that I started making money. And I started getting really, really busy.
Yeah.
And I said, well, this is weird. And I kept like, almost like, you know, like, is this real? How is it that I'm able to make it? And I just lost. Yeah, I just lost my salary, you know. But that was such a weird thing. You know what I mean? You just think those are made up stories, and they're not. At least not to me, it wasn't. And so this past year, I said, you know what? I'm going to go get my massage therapy license, or last year, and I did, and it's been the best. I mean, one of the best things that I've ever done. And now I know why it happened. Like now I realize I was supposed to be here. Does that get them off the hook? Hell no. You know, hell no. Because what they did sucked. But
I imagine just like getting the yes from everybody, like, and then something getting lost in bureaucracy, and then it's just like, oh yeah, like this is who it's gonna come down on. Like,
gotta blame someone.
And I was, you know, the only female, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything about that.
I'm not saying, but
but that's how I got into massage therapy, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm loving it, and like I said before, just seeing that you're helping somebody.
Yeah.
There's
so much more fulfilling.
So much more fulfilling, exactly.
Wow, that's so crazy. This divine intervention.
It was weird, guys. You know,
and it's such like the way it happened is just really like pieced. It's just so interesting because there's just like you needed masks and there's this copper and like, it's just it's like they had us in the first round, like where is this going? And then so that's too strange to be coincidental for sure.
I just and I still sometimes have to pinch myself because I think, come on, it was too perfect, it was too lovely, but at the same time I just have to sit back and I accept that blessing. I accept the fact that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I accept that my spa is doing so well. You know, I'm not going to become rich out of it, which is fine, but it's enough to pay my bills, and it's enough for me to be my boss, my own boss.
How is that? Like, just how was the swap from like having to answer to somebody to having to answer to nobody?
Just and then like, totally different fields. Like, I know. You gotta be all serious and professional. And then this one is like the total opposite.
Yeah,
like.
I can't tell you enough how amazing it is. I can't tell you enough how amazing it is. Like, it makes me want to cry because I think, why me? Why am I so blessed? Why am I so lucky? Why am I in this position? And the only thing that I can think of, right, other than God loves me, obviously. But other than that, it's like hard work, right? If you do, if you have a goal in mind and it's a good goal and it's good intentions and it's good motivation, put all your work into it because it's going to produce fruit. That work is going to produce that fruit. It has to. It's a lot. You're going to get good stuff out of it, and it doesn't mean there's not going to be any challenges. It doesn't mean there's going to be troubles, because believe me, man, I've had so many sleepless nights. And then the wonderful thing about it is the first 2.5 years, I would say, well, 2 years, people would ask me, are you proud? You know? And I'm like, no, I'm not proud. In fact, I feel like did I just do something disastrous for my family? Did we put ourselves in debt?
Scary.
Yeah, it's very scary. So I wasn't proud. In fact, I thought I had done something wrong. I kept like thinking about like, was I self-destructive in a way? So what's going on? But now I can tell you that yes, I'm very, very proud.
Yeah.
And I am so happy. I'm just so happy. And again, so I think it just reiterates: if you have a goal, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. What is there to lose?
Take those chip away at it, like you said.
Away,
Just baby steps. You'll eventually get there.
You'll get
like
there.
that's we tend to like kind of get lost in what's going on because like we're living it, like we're in the moment. But like you said, you just step back for a second, and it's like, oh well, this bad thing ended up being something
best
that
thing.
turned out to be really good. And so I think that's also like kind of another I guess just like a antidote for anxiety, right? Like just kind of step back, just realize like the wheel in the sky keeps on turning.
It does, right?
Everything's going on around us, things are gonna happen, and just put time and effort into something you love and see it take you somewhere.
Yeah, and I don't want to minimize anxiety either because it's so real and it's so, at least to the person that's experiencing it. But don't give up. Don't give up. Look for solutions. Look deep inside. Be brave, right? Because man, how easy is it to not look at it and say I don't want to deal with it and just get under the covers and feel sorry for ourselves. That's very easy. But in the long run, it's not the easy way out. So we just need to face our demons, and most of the time we find out they're not demons at all. They were angels. So,
and that's usually the healthiest thing that you could ever do. Just facing it head on. It's the hardest, but it is the healthiest because you don't carry that, and stress will just eat you alive. And literally ruin your health.
Oh yeah. For sure.
That's really
Stress
cool. I'm really
related.
happy to hear that your spa is doing so well.
it is. Thank you.
Successful.
Me too.
We gotta go.
That's incredible. Yeah.
We gotta go for sure.
That is the coolest story I've heard.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. I'm just lucky to be like in the center of it and to see it, because sometimes you think, really? Did that really happen?
Yeah.
And when you experience it yourself,
What
it's like,
just happened?
yes, it did happen.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
For sure.
So, do you get in the float tank?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. Yes, of course. And I get massages, I get facials, I get saunas, and the good thing is I just do it whenever I want to. That's like, I walk in, I'm like, I'm kind of like the boss around here.
Hey, I'm gonna get in here, guys. No one's using it.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
I do.
That's cool.
And that's pretty amazing.
Have you seen like it improve your health and?
Oh yeah. So I think that I was already kind of healthy when once I started it, because I was into yoga and meditation.
Yeah.
But now I'm like super aware. So it's not about like, I used to kind of think, oh gosh, I need to weigh this much or whatever. It's more about how do I feel? Do I feel flexible? Do I feel energized? Do I feel just healthy? I'm not a fanatic about it. Like, I'm not like a clean eater or nothing like that.
Yeah.
But most of the time I try and eat clean. Most of the time I try to, get as much rest as I can or whatever. So I do feel like I am healthy. All of us could probably be healthier, which is fine, but I feel good in my body.
Yeah. And I'm sure you can feel like if you eat something bad, you feel it more.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop me for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
That
Me
doesn't
either.
stop me. I'm like, okay, do I want to pay the price for this one? Yes, I'll pay the price. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, it's worth it. I'm going for it.
Yeah.
When
Chicken wings.
we commented on how she looked pretty young. So I mean,
so
that has to. It seems like something's working.
Yeah,
for sure.
thank you. I really appreciate that. I don't feel young right now. Yeah, because it's been stressful, but that's okay.
Oh yeah. I'm sure. Owning a business is very stressful.
So, it was. You guys were how much of? So you said you were closed for about like half a year during COVID.
Yeah. So I think, gosh, I can't remember anymore now. What year are we in?
2022.
22.
They're all just melding at this point. Yeah.
COVID hit, what, 2020?
19? Yeah, 2020, yeah.
So I believe we were closed from like March to like I think August, and then they closed us back down again. Remember, like in October to like the beginning of December. So yeah, we were closed.
Wow.
Almost half a year.
Were you still paying rent?
Okay, so I wasn't paying rent, but it was still accumulating.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened there is I did get some PPP loans, which was $4,000. Some people like bought like yachts and stuff. Like, how did they do
Yachts?
that?
Yeah.
I'm
Where,
like, what?
where are they getting this money? We're
I'm
going
like-
through a pandemic. What's
I
happening?
know. I'm like, I must have done the application wrong. So all of it went to payroll for me. I didn't buy a yacht. But then we did get a grant from the city, and it was $10,000, and that was it paid like to the penny the rent that I was back.
Wow.
Back doing whatever. So I kind of like, okay. So I didn't make any money off of it, but at least I was able to pay
Net
my rent.
even,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
See?
That was
You're
good.
being
Yeah,
taken
exactly.
care of.
I really am. Mm.
Every step of the way. That's
Yes.
really cool.
Yeah.
How was it? How was the experience like? Were you guys worried that people weren't gonna want to come in?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what did
for
you-
sure.
I mean, obviously you saw like a little bit of a dip, or
No, there was a lot of a dip. We would just. I mean, I think when we first started opening back up again, which was probably last year sometime. I guess that's when I started working there. Yeah.
Mhm.
So what we would do is just open for appointments.
Okay.
So we would have people scheduled, and we would only open for appointments. So any time else, we would close.
Mhm.
I can't remember now when we started kind of like saying, okay, we'll just open, and if someone, because we don't have a lot of walk-ins right now. We used to have a lot of walk-ins, but not anymore. It's mostly by appointment only, but we're booked a lot of the time. And if we're not booked, we stay open.
Mhm,
So,
mhm,
but back then that's how it was. Yeah.
Okay.
That seems like the best COVID remedy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and we had the
Stressed.
luxury of doing that.
Yeah.
Like restaurants, I don't know how they did it, because you have to keep that. You gotta have your refrigerator stocked with fresh stuff. So I don't know how they did it. Kudos to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. They the unsung heroes.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Yeah. And then there was a lot of people that just weren't going back to work, and so everyone was like short-staffed.
Mhm.
I know.
I think it's
like-
still like that, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, or for sure.
How many employees do you have?
So we have, let me think, 1, 2, 3, 4. So like 4, actually 5. 5 on the payroll, and then some of our therapists right now are independent contractors.
Okay.
So I think for, on the payroll we have like 6.
Okay. Wow, that's a big operation.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
Mhm.
employees.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Do you like that little spot right there?
I
Right there
do.
on South
It's really
Kleinfeld?
cute. Yeah, I kind of second guessed it when I first got it, but now it's grown to be home to us. I think it's a nice little central area for the Far Easters and
It
for the
is.
East over here. So yeah, I
I
think
grew
it's
up
nice.
in that area. I
Oh,
love
did you?
that area.
Yeah.
So where exactly on
Saul
South
Kleinfeld and Montwood. So it's right next to Undisputed Craft House.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. For sure.
Right there.
That Undisputed Craft House has been so many things. Like,
Right?
I remember like it was Gills at one point, and then just a ton of different things.
Wasn't it Artivino's or something?
I think it might have been. It's been a lot.
Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, Mexican restaurant.
Like way back in the day when I was in high school, it was a pizza place.
Yeah.
And I had a band back in
Really?
those times.
Oh,
and
did you
we
guys?
played a show out right in the front.
That's cool, dude. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Good
That's
time.
cool.
Chris is I guess he's the owner for Undisputed. He's done a really, really great job. Again, kudos to him, because that must be so hard to keep
Yeah.
everything so fresh. He does like little, not little, like craft shows or craft fairs.
Okay.
But they're really cute. They're like punk rock, and
Yeah.
they're
Okay.
nighttime. So I think he's doing a really good job, and he works his butt off too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Workaholics,
yeah.
the lot of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Um,
the coolest. Man, I'm like really intrigued. I really, really want to go.
Yeah, it
Let's
sounds
get
cool. There was
Massage and facial.
yeah, the whole
The whole
thing, the
works.
spa day. There's this like physicist that I like reading about, Richard Feynman, and he like experimented with sensory deprivation tanks too. He said that he could use them to like sort of hallucinate a little bit. Like he would experience like his conscious experience would come out of his body,
Mhm.
and that he could like look behind his head. I mean, he is like, at the end of the day, he's a physicist, and he's like, surely I know that's not what was going on, or I don't think that's what was going on. It was just like my perception of what I thought that would look like, because your brain's crazy. Like it could
Your
just,
brain is very
makes
crazy.
it makes the whole
In
it
there
makes
with your
everything.
thoughts
Yeah,
and
it
nothing
makes
else.
everything.
You
So
can't
it's
escape
like
your thoughts.
Yeah, so disclaimer on that, because people read stuff like that and they're so scared when they come in, because they're like, I don't want to hallucinate, and I'm like, you're not going to. So what happens, and I think you said it really well, because he was a physicist, right?
yeah.
The float pod will meet you where you're at. I don't know if you guys have done yoga, but that's exactly the same premise. It's like you start where you're at.
Yeah.
And if you can't touch your toes, it's okay. It's good. You're doing the good thing for yourself. So that's how the float pod is. It's going to meet you where you're at. If you are levels up in your spirituality, you possibly could hallucinate and astral project and do all this stuff. But if you're not, you're going to find it very restful.
Yeah,
And you're going to find a lot of people do fall asleep. It's supposed to put you into a meditative state. So I'm not sure if they're experiencing sleep or if they're experiencing, a deep meditation. But I can tell you that I don't even want to say a percentage, but I would say maybe like 92% of the people that come out of there, they say it was a wonderful experience and it was very restful for them.
Yeah, I bet.
So again, it does. Can hallucinations happen? I'm sure they can. I've never hallucinated.
So it depends on the person.
But I think it depends on the person, on how far out there you really want to go, and that's what's the beauty, I think, of our brains and of life. You can go wherever you want to go.
Oh,
You're an adult. You're an independent human, and your mind can take you where you want it to go. And that's the same with the float pod.
Yeah.
And just experiencing it. Why not?
Yeah.
And it's
For
so
sure,
easy.
for
All
sure.
you're doing is floating. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, right.
That's all. People are. I'm not kidding. People come in terrified. It's weird.
I think it's just being alone with
Your thoughts.
and like forced to
My tinnitus would just be like,
stare them in the face.
Yeah. Okay. So
Oh,
see,
your
those are the
tinnitus.
things that people do get scared of.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
face
yeah,
it,
yeah.
right? Face it.
Yeah,
And
for
see
sure,
what
for
happens
sure.
when you're in there by yourself, because you're gonna be with yourself for eternity.
Mhm,
Yep.
At least if you think that way.
Yeah.
Might as well get to know yourself.
Yeah. For sure. That, I mean, it's the journey in. Heck yeah. It's
Do you ever
It's,
float for inspiration?
Oh,
Get
yeah.
ideas?
Yeah, of course. It's kind of like being in the shower, right? Where the idea hits you, because what are you doing? You're being in the now. You're just doing something that is not. You're not distracted by other things, and so that's what the float pod is too. You're not distracted by sensory stimulation, right? So you're gonna be those things are gonna hit you. Does everybody get creative? No. Because different people will use it for different reasons. Some people just want to relax. Some people want to get ideas. Some people want to get closer to God. Some people, it just depends on what they use it for.
Yeah. How often can you do it?
Oh gosh, you can do it weekly.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, it's a very non-intrusive therapy and so good for you. The Epsom salts, I mean, there's been lots of research done. You really can't absorb it, but I think it's more kind of like a placebo effect, where because they're Epsom salts and it's magnesium sulfate, you're going to feel relaxed. And again, there's been studies that we really don't absorb it through the body.
it's just, I guess, the warm, or it's not warm. It's
It's warm.
right?
Yeah, so it's
warm?
skin temperature.
Okay,
So it's not
okay.
cold and it's not hot. It's unique. It's
Yeah.
very cool, but very simple.
Do you
Very
get
simple.
a lot of return
Oh yeah,
people
Oh,
that want
yeah.
to get back in the tank?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
I
Because
bet. I feel like that would be something you get
addicted to for sure.
Like, I want to go
Yeah.
float.
I want to go float.
People-
Like,
like,
where do you
I need my
find that
float.
kind of just
Rest.
darkness, quiet,
Mhm.
peace? So I would
Safe
say-
space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
How long? Go for it.
Yeah, were you gonna say how long you get?
Yeah.
in there?
How
Yeah,
long? How
I
long?
was about to
How
ask
long
that
can you
too.
stay in, or what's the session like? Or
So we have sessions that you can book from 30 minutes up to 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. So I recommend people, when they haven't done it, to do it for 30 minutes, because that was how I started with 30 minutes. But then I have one of my staff, she's like, I tell them to start with an hour, because it takes you at least 30 minutes to kind of settle in,
Yeah.
So I would say either 30 minutes or an hour, whatever you think. And the other good thing is you can get out whenever you want. It's not like you're locked in there.
Yeah.
we're not letting you out. You're gonna relax, okay? You're gonna float.
You're gonna stay in there. You're gonna like it. So I would recommend 30 minutes. 30 minutes, it's $37 for 30 minutes, and for 1 hour, it's $49.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, you shower before
Uh-huh.
to remove like excess oils and stuff. Oh, because that's the other thing. Do we change the water between floats? No, we do not. There's 1,200 pounds of Epsom salts. 1,200 pounds of Epsom salts. I'm not kidding, guys. It's like $800. It's ridiculous. So no, we do not change it. However, there is a very, very sophisticated filtration and sterilization system. Yeah, so it filters it out. It gets sterilized with UV and ozone, and then it goes back in. You walk in there and you can see it's crystal clear. It's clean. You know. And then of course the salt is very there's like it's a sterile environment. Nothing really can grow in it. So yeah.
Yeah, I noticed on your website it said you can go in naked, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
that's really interesting.
Yeah, so you're by yourself. You don't want Epsom salts on all your clothes and stuff. And then you shower afterwards. The only things that we do tell you is do not shave at least 24 hours before you get in there, because again, it's salt and it'll sting. And then we do ask if you've colored your hair for the past 2 weeks, you can't float.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, because it'll tint the water.
Have some blue.
But yes, float naked.
Green.
We say butt naked. Yes.
Float butt naked.
Yes.
The way we came in.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly.
The way we came in, yeah. I mean, just thinking about it now. Just thinking about it now, really, like, I don't think I've ever completely had just weight off my body. Like, we're just walking around. Like, even when you're laying down, like, you're subject to whatever gravitational forces. And there's always something. Like, you're always in contact with something. But in this environment, it's like, it's as close to just being weightless as you possibly. Well, you are weightless in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Because you're floating.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
That is.
Yeah, we have an astronaut art that my niece drew on there, and that's how you feel. You feel weightless, and then the sky, right? So you have an option. We do recommend that you do it, in complete darkness, but of course, you can work up to it. So when you first get in there, there's options, and you can have like stars in the ceiling. There's little LED lights.
Oh, yeah, like you're all floating in space.
So and then you do have meditative music as well. So for those, again, if you don't want to trigger tendinitis or don't want to hear it, you have music, and it plays through the water, so it feels really good.
Oh, it plays through the water.
Well, the speakers are in there,
That's
so
cool.
yeah, so you can hear it.
That's super awesome.
All right, Chris, let's go.
Let's go.
That is
Like
cool.
right after the episode, like we're booking.
Wow, that's really cool. And you can book on your website, right?
Yes, you can book on the website.
Cool.
You can call us, or you can text us. So yeah, whatever is easiest for you. On the website, if you do book on the website, it does ask you for a deposit, just to discourage like people just booking.
Yeah.
But if you call, normally we don't ask you for a deposit. We should, but we don't. Yeah.
Do you have a lot of cancellations though? I mean, it seems like
We don't have a lot, but we do have the occasional no-shows, which are so they're so frustrating because you block out the time, and we're small spots. We only have one float, so if somebody else wants to book, they can't book. So it is frustrating.
Yeah.
But oh well, that's it's being in business. Whatever.
True.
Yeah. It does suck though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I think that's freaking awesome. I'm like.
Yeah, I'm pretty intrigued for
I
sure.
know.
For sure.
I want to go.
I want to go the Feynman way. Just like try to get somewhere interesting. No.
You're not scared?
No. Well, I mean, it's you, like you said.
Yeah.
It's not some, or at least I don't believe it's some like extra dimensional thing. Like it's you. It's your experience. And like what he talks about it like in detail. And he was like, it was something he was trying to do, like something that like at first it started off as just kind of relaxation, and like he just enjoyed being in there, and then after a while, like he just started thinking about, and the dude is like he is a genius. Like he won the Nobel Prize. He's done like a lot for physics, and he's like a really famous physicist. And so like he was already out there, like and he went to like South America, like just. Or I forget why he went, but like he would walk around in the streets and like play bongos with like with the locals and stuff, and then he used to work at Los Alamos, and he like learned how to pick everyone's locks like all of like he was just a lock picker, and then like he was just so all over the place. And
Richard Feynman.
Richard
I'm gonna
Feynman.
have to look him up.
Yeah, check him out because he's a really interesting guy, and like he talks about like there's no better way to say it. Like he talks about physics. He's not spiritual at all. But like when he talks, you're like, dude, you're tapped into something.
You're
like,
tapped into
Really?
something.
yeah. He just the way that he describes things, like the way he describes a fire burning, it's just really like, what? Yeah, like okay, cool. So yeah, oxygen really loves to be next to carbon. Like he talks about like the particle, like molecules and stuff, like they're things, and like he's just. So I mean, it was a given that like this was going to be his experience in the tank. Like that's what he's trying to do. Like he's trying to explore reality for himself.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it would happen. Like to be honest, like the relaxation of it would just be nice.
Enough for you.
Yeah.
but like,
You don't need to.
Yeah.
No research. Yeah.
Relax.
no mind games with yourself.
Just quiet.
I love how some people are so brave because even though, I don't know if I sound brave, I don't know, whatever, but I'm not like, I am a risk taker, but like I don't want to astral project.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I love when someone's courageous enough to want to do that. Yeah. And maybe one of these days I'll want to astral project, but I don't want to astral project now. Like reality is crazy enough for me now that I don't need the extra crazy.
Yeah.
For sure. Have you I wanted to. So you said you do meditation, or do you practice that regularly?
Yeah,
or,
for sure.
As like mindfulness stuff, or
yeah. So I mean, mine, is the sitting down in a quiet place for 15 minutes. Sometimes I'll repeat like a mantra, like I am love or something. Or other times I'll just try and be as quiet as possible. Or like if I have an intention, I'll maybe think of that. So it depends on how I'm feeling. But yeah, I definitely try and do it every day. Yeah.
That's cool.
Because it's so, I don't know, I found that it's so good for me mentally.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've done it a couple of times, but I feel like finding the time to actually just sit down and be quiet and still is the hardest thing.
Yeah.
And
really
then
is.
doing it itself is hard. Like just sitting, like I'll try like 5 minutes in, I'm like, I want to get up and go do something. But that's the whole point behind it is that
building up.
you have to build up the
that mental strength. I guess I don't know mental strength, but I think so,
For
right?
sure.
Just the ability to kind of stomach the peacefulness or whatever. Yeah, my body craves it now. Like it just craves it.
Yeah.
That's how I've gotten to the point where oh my gosh, I have to do it.
Yeah.
Because then if not, I feel a little, I don't know, I feel weird. Yeah.
Little uncentered or something. I did there was this when I lived in College Station, there was this meditation retreat, Sky Meditation. It's an acronym. I forgot. It's the type of meditation. But we did it at home. It was like a virtual retreat because it was still during COVID too. But so yeah, there's like 100 of us on like a Zoom session. And like it was guided, and they took us through 3 different types of breaths. There was this one like I forgot how to do them. I want to do this again, and I'll get to kind of why. But they had us do this one type of breath called the Ujjayi breath, and then there were 2 different ones. So you go like into the Ujjayi breath, and then you do that for like I think you repeat that a certain amount of times for about 20 minutes, and then you go into another 20 minutes of this different kind of breathing. And then the last 20 minutes you go through like these three stage different speed, like different cadence and speed breathing. So it starts off with like long breaths, and then they get a little bit more shallow until like it's like 3 levels, and then on the last one you're just kind of like breathing quickly. And it's guided by like this sort of chant recording. But after it was done, it was like the strangest feel. Like it felt like my body was on fire, but like pleasant. Yeah, what? Like it felt like, and they told us this was gonna happen. They're just like, like you're getting a lot, like you're just forcing oxygen in and out, and you're getting a lot more than you've probably ever had in your life. And so like all of your cells are like going into overdrive because you have like all of this oxygen inside. Wow. I'm not exactly sure like what the science behind
Right.
like it is. But no, it was interesting because we're talking about like what you can do with your brain. And so yeah, like my body, it just feels like it's vibrating, and it was just this really pleasant feeling, and I was like, wow, this is cool. Like I just did this by breathing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you can
And
get high
yeah,
off of
yeah,
breathing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
really.
And I was like, I would like feel my arm, and there would be like so I'd feel it, and then I'd feel like a flare, or like whenever I would touch anywhere on my body,
Yeah.
it would just be like an after effect. It was cool. So I'd go like this, and then I'd feel it again
Aw,
right after.
that's cool.
It was super
is.
interesting. I want to go. I forgot how to do the process because I didn't practice it, but
Yeah.
like I've been like not a day goes by when I'm like I need to go
You
back
do
to one
it.
of those retreats.
Yeah.
Good.
But it's like, I mean, it's an hour out of your day that you would have to
Put
do
aside.
it. But I mean, it's worth it, right? Like that's such an interesting. I just hope like if I do it again, like it's that intense still.
Yeah.
Like I hope it never diminishes. You know what I'm saying? Like the feeling.
Yeah.
I hope I never get used to it.
Yeah, I would say that it probably doesn't diminish. I would say that like inner work, the more you do it, the richer it becomes. So I would assume, right, that it would become that much more richer, I think,
Yeah.
because nowadays, like, that's so much more richer for me because, in fact, I was going home yesterday and I was like, what do I feel like doing? Like, I'm not hungry. I don't want to go get a beer. I don't want to watch TV. So I'm like, good grief, what's going, like, it's kind of weird. And I'm like, I just kind of want to sit with myself.
Yeah.
So it's so weird. And it sounds so stupid, but that's exactly what I felt yesterday, because it's richer in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's an
It's a
awesome
good-
place to get for sure.
It's a weird place for sure.
It's a good reminder to like me and hopefully like anyone
Everyone.
watching to just really take that time to be with yourself, you know, and obviously there's so many benefits no matter what kind of meditation you do.
For
or
sure.
Floating or just sitting with your thoughts, breathing.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, I find it very productive, like to be with myself, because that time spent in thought, like produces, right, that creativity or the goals or the
Mm-hmm.
how do I want to feel. So not necessarily what do I want to do, but it's like how do I want to feel.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I'm sure you can think about your goals a lot more clearly
Mhm.
and see exactly like where you want to go next, like your next
Yeah.
step, you know, just
Sort of like lay some good foundation. Like just give yourself time to really like think about who you are. Because
where
I
you
know
are.
I think about that a lot too. I'm just kind of like, what am I really about actually? Like what is Chris about? Like what are my core ideas? Like, and then like we have so much information now.
Yeah.
That like you can easily like lose yourself in like social media or the news or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you just come back and you go like, okay, I'm just gonna sit in the most relaxing place in my house, and I'm just gonna sit here for like an hour and just like remember what it means, like remember the things that I enjoy about
Yeah.
myself for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That seems super fun.
That's
super
lovely,
awesome.
right?
Mhm.
For sure.
I find myself nowadays, because I am the boss now, and I don't have to do massages, right? Because I've gotten to the point where I realize the spa can work without me.
Yeah.
So me being there is just gravy, you know. So man, like I don't want to. I'm not trying to be. What do you call that? Like what do you say that? What's that word? Not arrogant. I'm not trying to like.
No.
You know what I'm trying to say? But man, sometimes I do find myself like thinking, how did I get here? How did I get here to where I'm with my dogs and I can do what I want?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
most of the time it gets back to work because
Mm-hmm.
you know, because then you find yourself, you know, on TikTok after an hour, you're just like, oh my god, I need to take a shower now or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lovely place to get, and I would assume, or I'm putting the responsibility or I'm blaming it on whatever, the fact that I have worked so hard on not only my professional life, but on my inner
Yeah.
life as well.
For
And
sure.
so I have to give myself credit.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, right? To come to a place where you actually care more for yourself than others. That's kind of weird, especially for like the Mexican culture. Like women, like we are taught to care for others, and to come to a place where I think I'm the most important person to myself. That's crazy.
It seems like counterproductive, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, you can't really help others if you're not solid and confident within yourself, and so
it's so weird.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like, am I there? I'm not saying that I've reached any pinnacle. I'm just saying I'm in a kind of in a different
You're
space
getting there,
that I was for a long time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Anyways,
Total different perspective on life.
it's
I'm
weird.
Sure.
It's very weird.
Well, that's cool though, because it's like you have the best job ever, and so you can just, even if you want to be a workaholic, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's your own
It's
business, and you're doing amazing work and helping people, and so it's like be a workaholic. You know.
Thank you. Yeah.
I really think we need to go.
Yeah, we gotta go.
You guys
so.
come.
Yeah.
Well, it was so awesome talking to you. I had such a fun time.
Thank you.
Check out
Floating Calm Spot.
Float and Calm, Saul Kleinfeld.
Yeah.
And Maltwood. Yes.
We'll put some like your website and stuff in the. We'll put her website. You guys have a website, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll put her website
Address.
in the comments. Check out Float and Calm. We'll
Instagram,
be there.
Facebook.
Yes.
All that.
We'll have all of that
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
Okay.
TikTok.
I really enjoyed our talk.
Thank
It
you.
was
Me
very
too.
Eye-opening.
For sure.
Like,
100%.
I need to take a step back and take some time to actually sit down and focus on me. It's always in the back of my mind. I just don't do it.
Yeah. We have a lot of
We just
stuff
need to
do.
stop and take a breather.
But then also remember, you have eternity, or again, at least this lifetime to do that.
Yeah.
So don't be hard on yourself either.
For sure.
True.
For sure.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you
welcome.
coming and talking to us.
Thank you guys for inviting me.
Later.
Thank you guys
Bye,
for
guys.
watching, and stay tuned next week.